Welcome to the What It Takes podcast, where we talk to successful entrepreneurs, leaders, and CEOs across different industries. I'm your host, Darren, and in each episode, we're going to figure out how they got through difficult times, but most importantly, what it really takes to succeed. So whether you're just starting out your career or you're looking to level up your business game, my goal is to give you real insights and practical lessons from people who have achieved what you want. All right, welcome back to the What It Takes podcast. I'm joined today by Raffaella. Raffaella, you have an amazing story, very inspiring. You went from a 9-to-5 job, decided enough is enough. You want to do something yourself. You want to explore the world and become an entrepreneur. And what I'm very excited to talk to you about is your journey, when you figured that out, your process, and what you're doing today. So a huge welcome to you. I'm very excited to talk to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. It's a really pleasure to be here and to be of inspiration for young people with my history, with my life. Because
Yes.
I must say it's been a nice adventure. So I started as a credit analyst in a corporate company based in Paris. I had a really good job, high profile, and my career has arrived to a top, so to say. So I had a lot of money, all the life we usually dream of,
Because you were in banking before. Obviously now you have, because you do a lot of stuff, right? But primarily you're in the real estate business.
Yes.
You mentioned that you would sell properties, you would buy, and you would, get happy clients, and you're doing so many things right now. Why don't you first of all give the audience a little bit of an overview of everything that you do today?
Okay, let's start from today and then backwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll start from where you are now, and then we'll move to the
Perfect.
transition.
Okay. Okay. Not so easy because I'm in a lot of businesses currently, and my main business is real estate and interior
Mm-hmm.
design because I've
Mm-hmm.
always had a passion for real estate. So I decided to develop and to start with this business here in the south of Spain. I
Mm-hmm.
live in Malaga. I work along the whole coast, Costa del Sol, from Malaga up to Marbella. And I have a lot of foreign clients, very few Spanish ones, and most of them are from abroad, from all the world, all over the world, globally.
Mm-hmm.
And I also am a representative of interior design companies. They come
Yeah.
from France, from Italy, from Brazil, from Portugal, all over the world. And
Yeah.
I help them making events and building bridges.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also collaborating with Ferrari, Ferrari fan club in Latvia, because we are organizing a very nice Ferrari race tour in Sicily and one in Faroe Island in
That
July.
sounds really fun. That sounds really fun.
This is really
I,
exciting.
I told you the Ferrari Roma is my favorite car. So when you mentioned Ferrari, I was like, wow, cool. Yeah.
Yes, you can take part. You can take part
Yeah,
in
I
that.
love to. I love to. Send me
It
some
will be
information.
lovely. Yes, yes.
But amazing. So so you have the real estate, interior design, you're doing this thing with Ferrari, and obviously this is not the traditional, job. Most people would look at that and be like, wow, You did, however, have a typical 9-to-5 job, and this was in banking, correct?
It was a credit insurance.
Credit
I
insurance,
was
that's
a
what it was.
credit manager in a credit
Hmm.
insurance belonging to a banking group. Yes, in
Hmm.
Paris.
And so going back to your early days, what was it like for you, because you obviously at a later point in your life decided to pursue entrepreneurship, right?
Yes,
But did you always feel like you had this in you, or what, where did this
yes,
desire come from?
yes. I always felt I had to do something on my own.
Hmm.
I always felt I needed to challenge myself. I
Hmm.
always had the feeling that I need to fulfill my desires, but
Hmm.
first of all, to create something. Okay, because I've always been very good with relationships and networking. And at the university, I studied business administration, but I chose the branch, the marketing branch.
Yes.
So when I started as a credit manager, I didn't feel at ease completely, because
you felt something
I
was
had
off.
this creativity.
Yeah. And you didn't have an outlet for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And
so you're working this job then and reflecting on the moment, because I think what you said was so beautifully, like I remember you saying you were sitting in the office and you were looking outside and something switched inside of you.
yes,
Did it not?
exactly. I had an epiphany because it has been months that I didn't feel at ease, and I felt like a slave, and I had no gratification. Everything was took for granted. When I worked in my weekend, it was took for granted, and they always ask you more. The more you give, the more they ask. So my personal life had very little space in my life, and I really felt that it was not my life. It was not the life I wanted, and I thought by myself, dear, we only live once.
Yes.
Life goes so quickly, time flies. Look outside, the world is going on, there's a wonderful sun outside, and you are here stuck with a PC in front of you, forgetting who you really are, and most of all, what you can achieve. Okay, because after 27 years in the same sector, you get everything automatic.
Yeah.
And your brain stops because it's like a routine.
It's just the same every day.
Yes, it does the same every day. You see all these balance sheets, financial sheets, cash flows.
I get bored listening to it.
Yes.
Get balance sheets every day. Yeah.
And I felt like having a richness inside of me without being able to use it. And had no gratification. So I had this epiphany and I said, no, this is not my life anymore. I don't want to end my life like this because society expects you to graduate, to find a job, to create a family, to buy a house, then to retire. If you are lucky, you can travel. If you don't have grandchildren, otherwise you don't travel at all. So I thought, oh my God, no, this cannot be my life. And this is my chance in the whole universe to be here. And I would like to do something good for me and for the others as well.
It's incredible to hear that after 27 years in this sector, that all of a sudden you got this desire, and I'm hearing that it had been brewing for a while, right? Like it didn't just come in one day, but slowly it had been building up.
Yes.
But how was it for you deciding that you were going to taking this step, right? Like you've had the security, you've had the stable job, the stable, safe income, right? But you're still feeling like there is something off there. But was there any fear? Was there any doubt that, am I going to do this? Am I going to, actually do this? What was that moment like for you, choosing to leave everything behind and starting up for yourself?
It's not easy, because when we live in a certain kind of society, we are a slave in a mechanism. And since the beginning, they don't give us many chances, It's like your professional life and personal life is already written. You just have to go on the route that they decided for you.
Yes.
And when you're young, you don't imagine you have such a big choice in your life. It's like you are conditioned. Okay. So this is why I'm here. I'm here to tell young people it's not like that. I believe this. And I found out when I was 50 that it could be different. But you have the chance to understand it now, not to lose time, and to create something for yourself which really fulfills you and gives you the chance to be the actor of your life.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So you overcame that fear, right? You overcame those expectations that society
Yes.
have for you. And did you have a plan? Did you know, like, I'm gonna do this or that when you decided to quit your job?
I tell you, when I decided to quit my job, I didn't know who I was anymore.
Mm,
It took me a few months to get in touch with my real inner self
mm, mm,
and to rediscover who I
mm,
was,
mm.
which were my passions. I tried to remember when I was a teenager, when I was in my 20s, how I used to feel, who I was before
Yeah,
they transformed me, you know?
yeah, yeah.
And it was not easy to get in touch with your old self, with your
Mm,
old little young Raffaella. Who were
mm.
you?
Yeah,
What did you dream of? What did you want?
yeah, yeah.
And you have to trust yourself. You have to
Mm,
trust your feelings because sometimes
mm,
when you're different from the others, or when you choose another kind of life, another mindset, people think you are strange. People
mm.
think you are crazy. People think, oh my God, she woke up and she has some problems now. She has some kind
Yeah.
of mental state of
What's happening
mind.
here? What is she doing? Yeah, yeah,
She has a lot of money. She has two wonderful children. What she does more than
yeah,
this? You know what she
yeah.
wants? And I said, no, I'm not happy. I'm in
Mm,
this world to be happy.
mm.
And I want to follow my dreams. Who cares what people think? Who cares what people say? And I trust myself.
And so, you left your job and you're like, I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to go into this new chapter of my life. And so, what went through your head? Did you know I'm going to go into, the luxury real estate space, or did you have different options on the table? What
Yes.
did you because you obviously thought back to when you were younger, right? The young Raffaella, what were her dreams? What did she want to do, right? What was that like for you when you decided I'm going to do this, but and how did you know what you wanted to do? How did that come to light?
Yes. I knew that you have to discover what is your superpower. First
Uh-huh.
of all, when you
Mm,
think about yourself, everybody, every one of us has a superpower.
mm-hmm,
We have to develop this, okay? I understood that I had such a huge empathy and I had to exploit it.
mm.
So this united to my passion for beauty, for real estate.
No worries. So we had a little bit of a technical issue there. The camera went out, so we're just going to continue. Raffaella, you just connected your phone, so thanks a lot for that. But that's why we have a little bit of a different angle for you. But essentially, you were talking to me a little bit about when you decided to start fresh, right? And you left your job and you moved to Spain.
Yes.
And you didn't know the language, you didn't know the culture very well, right? Like so when you come to Spain, what is that like for you? What do you do?
Okay, yes. Um, I got to Spain. I spent almost 6 months going back and forth from Milan to Malaga to find a house
Mm,
and to study the situation,
mm.
because I didn't know anything about
Yeah.
this town. And the first thing I did was renting a car and going around
Uh-huh.
with the car, also because I thought if I want to be a real estate agent, I have to know everything about this area.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how can I sell and find houses? I have to understand how
Mm,
it works here. So I
mm,
started traveling all around. I discovered all Andalusia. It was a
mm,
wonderful experience because I did it all on my own, and
mm,
I remember as one of my best experiences in my life. I really enjoyed every second there. And when I saw Malaga, the seaside and the weather, the climate, I said, oh my God, this is the place I want to live in. Because in Milan, I never felt at the right place because I said I was born in the wrong place. It's too cold. It's too gray and I don't like it. I miss the sun. I miss the sea. So I was looking for a place like this.
Yes. And so you come then to Spain and you mentioned that you had this passion for art, you have this passion for interior design, for beauty. How did you get into real estate? How did you know that this is the business that I want to pursue?
Yes, because as a passion, I already had some operations in Milan in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I bought and sold houses by myself, and I saw that I was really good at it. I had some very good investment that allowed me to leave everything and to start from scratches in Spain.
Yes.
Because I sold everything I had in Milan, and I said, okay, I will start my new business in Spain. Thanks to my ability in real estate. And so I said, okay, to start with, I will start as a real estate agent because it's the only thing apart from credit management, which is not so new for me, Somewhere I had to have a background. I started with this and I discovered that I was very good at it because I could find a lot of good listings and I could find them not because I was speaking the language so good, because I couldn't speak the language, but because I noticed that people trusted me from the beginning. And I don't know why. Maybe I have good vibrations. I don't know. But by word of mouth, from one client to another, I started to have my little business, but I was not satisfied because I wanted to get into the real luxury estate business. So once I had a little experience in Malaga, I decided I wanted to move my business in Marbella because there is the right place where you can find luxury real estate and high-end people, high-end investors from abroad. I started again from scratches in luxury real estate. And I thought this was my dimension.
And so you built that up, right? You built up a network in the luxury real estate sector. And this is mainly what you're doing, of course, next to the other projects. But I'm sure that, getting to the stage that you're at right now, Raffaella, you must have gone through certain levels of challenges. You must have had some obstacles that came in the way. So how did you overcome those and what were those challenges?
Yes, there were so many challenges. Being in the real estate business is a roller coaster on itself. And starting in a new country as well, because in Spain, especially in Malaga, nobody speaks English. Nobody. So I had to learn the language, and I learned it talking to people because I never had a course. I never had the time to study Spanish because I had to move to act very quickly. I couldn't stay there, and I studied the real estate sector in Spain. I studied interior design all by myself. And in the meantime, I tried to talk to people and to learn the language. And so at the beginning, it was really difficult because I talked with gestures. And then suddenly, like bilingual children do, one day I woke up and I could speak Spanish. I don't know how it happened. But I started all of a sudden to be able to make sentences and to talk fluently. And now it's funny because when I'm in Marbella, it happens to me sometimes during viewings in properties that with one man I speak Spanish, then I turn to the other, I speak English. Then comes a French one, a German one. So
Yeah.
I'm quickly in changing languages now,
Well, that is a skill as well, right? Like the ability to speak several languages. So for you, one of them was the culture you're mentioning. The other was, of course, the languages, right? Like not being
Yes.
able to speak the language. Despite this, you threw yourself out there and you just tried to speak, you tried to learn. But
Yes.
what was your mindset like? Because I mean, for a lot of people, I think that, they have this dream, they have this passion, they want to go after it, but they're afraid, there are challenges along the way. But like, what are you thinking? Is it like in the moment, this is okay, I don't speak the language, but I'm going to learn it? Or is it more, how is your mind like? How do you talk? How does Raffaella
Yes.
talk to Raffaella? How do you
Yes.
talk to yourself?
Oh, at night I was very tired, I was really
Hmm.
exhausted, and it's not easy to leave a job where you have money every month to
Hmm.
one job where you have to get used to spend months working without seeing any reward, economically speaking. And
Hmm.
you really have to change your mindset. And
Yeah.
what I kept telling me and wondering was, would you go back? Would you go
Hmm.
back to your old activity, to your previous
Hmm.
activity? And I never regretted it. Never,
Hmm.
never. Even when I was feeling down, exhausted, when I said, oh my God, I can't do it, then I said, no, remember what you overcame in your life. You can do
Hmm.
whatever you want. Every day, every sunrise is a new opportunity. Even when you're feeling
Hmm.
down, you have to think that life gives us so many chances, so many opportunities, and we never have to give up. Never, never give up.
Yeah, so like what I'm hearing is that in your mind you had burned that bridge. There was no way back. So the only way, the only direction that you could go in was forward,
Yes,
right?
exactly,
And so you
exactly.
you you had to, this was the only option in your mind. So you were like,
Yes,
this is going to work because I'm never going back, right?
it has to. Freedom has a
Hmm.
cost, because sometimes
Hmm.
you feel lonely. Sometimes, my sons live in Milan and I miss them. I miss them a lot.
Hmm.
And but I think I felt like I was an example for them as well, that in our life we can reach whatever we want if we want to. We have to stay focused
Yes.
on our objective. If we want to be
Yes.
happy, we have to fulfill our dreams, and we can.
Yes.
We can. We have to be determined and to
Hmm.
be sure that we
Hmm.
will reach them.
Hmm.
And
One
I think this
One
is
thing that you also mentioned, Rafaela, was when you started this new journey, you mentioned that you had to rediscover yourself and that took a little bit of time.
yes.
What was it like for you to kind of go through that phase of personal growth as well as while trying to balance that, call it professional growth, right? Because you need an income. You focus on building something for yourself, and you're also discovering yourself again at the same time. What was that like for you?
Yes, you can't be a good entrepreneur unless you discover yourself and you are in balance, inside
Mm,
of you. Because otherwise, you cannot overcome difficulties.
mm,
You have to know very well which are your point of strength and your weaknesses, and
mm,
how to face them, how to overcome these
mm.
difficulties. And it is a mindset. You have to transform yourself from inside, and then success comes from the outside.
Yes.
But it's a long work inside yourself.
Mm,
Life is a transformation. We cannot
mm,
hold on to an old image of ourselves. We have to
mm.
be authentic, and it's a continuous learning. It's a learning of resilience as well. As I told you before, we have to discover our superpower and use it.
Yeah.
So this helps a lot.
And what did you what
I
what
had,
did
yes,
What did you
I
learn
read a
about
lot of books.
resilience?
I read a lot of books, and starting from Dispenza to other authors, from I don't know how you call it, physics. It's a kind of physics,
Yes.
quantic physics, and
Quantum physics.
yes, and I had a spiritual guide, a very nice man who helped me a lot to understand what was the meaning of life, why we are here on earth, and everybody has a task here in the world. We have to give a sense to our life, an objective and a sense to our lives. So I thought that I deserved to be happy, to feel fulfilled as an entrepreneur, because I have this capability of creation and of connections, of building a networking, which is not so common, and I have to exploit it, So I started with real estate, but I'm sure that being active in so many businesses will open the Stargate. I still don't know which is the real Stargate, but I'm sure that it's going to come very soon, because I'm so passionate in what I'm doing and in writing my blog, and because I love motivating people. I love being of inspiration and helping other people to find themselves, that I'm sure that something will come out soon.
I'm very excited about that. So, you've obviously, like, one thing that you mentioned to me in our previous call was this ability to connect with people, right? You mentioned that you had an extraordinary ability to you met someone, you were warm. How has that quality helped you expand your business in real estate and everything else? Because you have so many opportunities coming your way now.
Yes.
Obviously, that isn't by coincidence. You work for it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So this quality that you've identified, like, hey, this is, part of my superpower. How did this come naturally? Were you always like this?
Along the way, you can get many offers. Along the way, many people can contact you and offer you something, but you have to stay focused. You have to evaluate these offers, considering which is your final goal. What is your final goal? Otherwise, you waste time, you waste energy. So you have to stay really focused. And what I found out is that without being aware of it, all the opportunities that came to me were all related anyway to real estate, could be connected to real estate. Because building a networking in art, in interior design, also brings a lot to real estate.
Yeah.
Because when I'm selling a villa of millions, priced millions of euros, I can offer an interior design package. I can offer wonderful paintings from the artists I'm in connection with, and everything comes around. What goes around comes around, and helps you to develop a business which is a 360 degrees business.
Yeah.
You have to be different from the others, okay? Because there are a lot of real estate agents here on the Costa del Sol, but only a few are really psychologists of their clients, as I am, and can offer such a wide service all around,
So what you've done is you essentially looked at, the qualities, the skills that you have, the passions that you have for multiple areas, and you've sort of implemented that into your business, right? With the real estate, you're helping them buy and sell properties. Then it's like, once they get that property, I can also help you decorate it, do the interior design, right? So you have multiple facets there.
It's an integration. When I organize a Ferrari event, many clients that I have here can be interested in Ferrari events as well. I can involve them. So my networking is not separated, but everything comes to a single objective, to one single purpose.
And so one thing that I think is very important to bring up is, the societal norms that currently exist. Because I think you're such a prime example of someone who has, just abandoned that and truly gone for something that fulfills you, chased your dreams, chased your passions, right? Why do you think that everyone is believed to, like you said as well, go to university, get a job, a mortgage, and then all that stuff? Like, why is this happening? How do we fight that trend?
Yes, I think that economy needs this, corporate companies, because in the world there are a few big companies, funds that control everything from mass media to, I don't know, to banking, to real estate. They are everything, okay, everywhere. And they need people to work for them. This is the reason why. They need slaves to be able to prosper and to continue gaining money from all these slaves. So they don't want, also at school, they don't want you to learn to be financial independent. They want you to follow the path that they chose for you. And you are part of this mechanism. There's a lot of competition. You have to excel. You have to be the best one. You have to have a wonderful career. Everything is superficial. You are judged according to your car, according to your house. But in reality, what we really need to be happy is health and the fulfillment of our dreams. Because as
this comes from the top down. There are forces out there that they control a lot, and essentially what they want is people who can work for them as slaves, so they continue to prosper. And the way they do that is they indoctrinate society by telling them that, and it starts at school, where they're essentially taught to be a good employee, right? They don't learn about, you can become an entrepreneur, you can be financially free, you can do this, follow your passion. It's do something that will give you a stable job, and you're going to be with an average, because I can see that as well, right? Like you graduate, and the money you make, I think that in our society today, if you're wanting to raise a family, both parents need to work, right? Like one person working a job is not able to essentially provide for the whole family. So the mother and the father both need to be in full-time positions.
And they cannot grow up their children. Their children are given outside, to external teachers, which teach whatever they want. You must be an example for your children. You just have to help them to have a critical sense, a critical point of view, because they have to use their own brain and not what they are taught to, And this is the most difficult thing, because you are in a society where everybody thinks like this, everybody does like this, where your parents as well expect this from you, but everybody tells you who are you now, what do you have now, but nobody asks you, are you happy?
Because it's, very often I hear people being interviewed, or I'll talk to someone and I ask them, or I hear them answer this to the question, what is your dream? And they are never, most of the time, I think 90+% of the time that I hear this, they're not living their dream. They're not living the life that they want to live. And so they're working a job that they can tolerate. This job, it works, it's okay, it pays the bills, right? But it's not what they truly desire. It's not what they want, right? And so
was I,
But you broke free, right? You got out of this.
Yes, I could, because I wanted to. You have to be really determined. You have to have a kind of self-esteem which helps you do it. You have to trust yourself. You have to discover who you really are. And you don't have to care about other people's judgment. This causes fears. Fear is against happiness, you know. Fear is what prevents you from being happy, because you don't dare, you don't have the courage to change.
Fear is the mind killer.
Fear is really our ruin.
Yeah.
Fear is our ruin, and judgment as well.
So one thing that I often see is people who want to kind of pursue this life. Is there anything practical that someone, let's say in their early 20s, what would you advise them if they'd want to become an entrepreneur and pursue their dreams? What do you think? And let me give you someone a profile here. So I'm a man or woman, doesn't matter, but I want to pursue my dreams. I currently have a job, but I'm afraid of what my family and my friends are going to think, and I'm also afraid of money. How am I going to pay rent or whatever expenses that I'm having? Someone who has those worries, what would you tell them?
Yeah, okay. At the beginning, it's normal that you need to have a little bit of money to start whatever you want. So you have to have a very clear idea of where you want to get to. And to get there, you must be also ready to spend some time working, doing something you don't like really. Okay? But you know that is only a step of the process, okay? To get the money, to get where you really want to be. Okay. So when you're young, you have to, if you're not rich, you know, from birth, you have to spend a few years trying to get the little money you need to start your own business. Okay. But you have to be aware that this is not your definitive job. It's just a mean to get where you want to be. Okay. And you just
be aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you get into the routine, you are no more able to escape from it. Because routine means safety, routine means being relaxed and never have big challenges to overcome, but your brain is dead and you die before it's time.
You mentioned challenges. Why is that important to have big challenges?
Because from challenges and from failures, you learn. These are the best lessons in your life. If you don't try, you don't make mistakes, but you don't learn anything. And challenges gives you the chance to prove yourself what you can really do. If you overcome challenges, you get self-esteem enough to not to fear failures, because failures are part of the process. You can't be perfect. Along the way, you can touch the ground, you can dig the ground as well, but you always have to think that everything can be solved, that tomorrow is another day and you can start from scratches again and again and again, and you learn from your mistakes and never do them again. And always become a better professional man.
Yes. So, what is for you the next steps in your life? What is your vision? What do you hope to achieve? What is your dream?
Okay, I'm citizen of the world. So now I'm in Spain, but who knows tomorrow where I will be. I had an interview with a well-known Dubai real estate. They want me to be there and have a face-to-face conversation, but who knows? What I would like to do is to build bridges between Spain and Italy. And it could be regarding artists or cultural travels and things like that. Or it could also be something which has to do with real estate, because I have properties in Italy, I have property in Switzerland, in Portugal, in Spain. So it could be something corporate, you know.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. And another thing I wanted to say is that when you start something you really like, you're really passionate about, you feel enthusiastic and you have an energy like when you were in your 20s, you know. It's it's just like going back and have the whole life in front of you and knowing that you can create something.
Yes.
Yes.
So very true. And when you say building bridges between Italy and Spain, especially in the area of art, how does that look like? What are you thinking? Is it connecting artists from one country to
Connecting
another? Is it
arts,
introducing the art from one country to another? How does that look
yes,
like?
but also helping them to organize events because I love organizing events. I already did here in Spain. I'm doing this with Ferrari at the moment, but I would like to help artists to organize events and to get visibility in another country.
Yes. So it's really this passion for helping people as well, especially in the area that you're also passionate about, which is the arts. And so how do you manage your time as well as your energy across, different industries and in general? What's your balance like?
Yes, it's
How do
not
you do that?
easy because very often I work on Sunday, I work on Saturdays, but what is important is always focus on the priorities of the day because they change. Every day you have different priorities. So you have to start with this. Never wake up too late because the first hours in the morning are the more productive ones. So you start from priorities, then you have a break for lunch. And what I do is going to the beach and meditate.
Okay.
I can do meditation walking. I can sit on a rock and look at the never-ending sea in front of me and meditate. And I spent
Sounds very tranquil.
Yes, it's wonderful. 1 or 2 hours there, and you get so much energy that then you can work the whole, afternoon without any problem. And it depends. Sometimes in the evening I have events or I have viewings in Marbella, which is about an hour from here. So I have to take my car and travel around. But while traveling around, I never forget looking at nature. So while I'm driving, I look around and I see the sun, the sea and woods, everything. And I feel part of this universe, of this beauty. And this is where energy comes from.
That's amazing. It
And
sounds like you're very present.
And inspiration.
Yes. Yes. It sounds like you're very present in the moment, right? You're here now instead of constantly living in the future or the past. You're just here.
Yes.
Which I think is so important for any entrepreneur, right? Like being present with the work that you're doing, with the day that is ahead of you. And I think it's something that, personally, I struggle with that as well. I always used to live in the future. I was never present here.
Yes.
And then I became, I started to meditate. I became a little bit more connected to my inner self. And that's when I was able to, I'm here. This is all around me. This is the day. This is, exciting. A lot more pleasure there.
I can feel your vibes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Because, the most beautiful ideas I had, I got them after meditation or while being in the nature, while walking in nature, in woods, while looking at the seagulls, which I love, looking at seagulls, how they fly. And I get so many ideas while being there. And you can,
Me too.
yeah.
Yeah, when I go for hikes, I'll sometimes hike with friends or I'll hike alone. But even when I hike with friends, I always take this, a little bit time apart on the hike where I think. And when I'm alone in the mountains, I get so many ideas, so many thoughts, so much just original thoughts that really contribute to how I see things, how I think about things, how I see the world, what I want to do, what I want to, follow my passion, all of these things. And I think that is such an understated thing, right? Like just taking that time to reflect and think.
Yes.
I think this is so valuable.
Yes, it's kind of brainstorming. because we are a part
Yeah.
of nature. And I would suggest entrepreneurs and young people never to forget nature, because we are part of nature. We need nature to feel well, for our wealth, for our health as well. So when we are there, we get the best ideas ever. Always stay in the nature every time you can.
Yeah.
It helps.
And Raffaella, what advice would you give to any aspiring entrepreneur out there?
Okay, we have to make a list.
I'm ready.
Never forget your dreams. Find out your superpower. Never be afraid, because you can do everything you want. Stay focused. Don't listen to other people, because many times they want you to fail because they're not able to do what you're doing. And believe in yourself. Sometimes you have to accept things that you don't like a lot, like a job, for instance, but you have to think that it's just a part of the process, and you will get where you want to be.
Yes.
So never lose trust in yourself and in life, because really supports us and always gives a new opportunity. Failures are part of the process and are part of our experience in our backpack, and will help us grow. Every day we grow, and we can get there.
Yeah. And for anyone wanting to follow along on your journey or learn from you or read your blog, where can they find you?
Okay, I can give my references, because my blog at the moment is private, because I'm adding every day, I'm adding new experiences, new thoughts, and maybe it could come out as a book. I still don't know, but they can get in touch with me on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, TikTok. I'm everywhere.
Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast, Raffaella. It was a real pleasure talking to you, to learn about your journey and your wisdom. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Darren, for inviting me. It's been my biggest pleasure, and I really hope I can help other entrepreneurs, other young people to fulfill their dreams. Really, they can reach me, and it will be a pleasure for me to give advices and suggestions.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Darren. Take care.